All right, I'm back once again with another short video about the Woovebox. This video is going to be very short, and it's going to be about just me checking out some of the preset patches and seeing if I can tweak some of them. So without further ado, we'll turn it on and we'll see the Woovebox blink and smile at us there. Ooh, and we're greeted with a little synth chord that time. So you notice that each one of these parts here, 1 through 14, is labeled with a little name next to it: chord, bass, lead, arpeggiator, hi-hat, or kick, snare, hi-hat, percussion. And by default, and you can change what synthesis algorithm it's using, but you can very quickly just select a part by holding down the knob and pressing the part number. One thing I notice is that when it powers on by default, it's very quiet. So you got to hold down the play button here and turn this knob up a little bit. And you can hear the reverb and delay that's going on there. From the global settings, which you can turn to here, and it'll say global. Let me turn that a little bit so it's a little easier to see. If you hold down any of these buttons, you can adjust one of the settings here. So chorus send is currently turned to 0, but if I turn that up a little bit, you can kind of hear it a little bit. If I turn the delay up, you get a nice little delay there. There are actually, I think, 2 delays. Oops. Sometimes the version of the firmware I have, the knob is a little jumpy there. Turn down the delay too. No delay, but we're still getting some reverb. Let's turn that off by turning reverb down. Now we just have a dry patch. But if you don't like that patch, you can turn all the way through the various, these are all different synth engine settings here. You can turn through them. This display is a lot brighter and easier to read, not on camera, but when you go to the patch menu, you can see that there are some preset patches. And if you just hold this down, you can play around with those. So we're still in the bass sound group here. That's maybe pitched up an octave more than you'd normally want it. Maybe in the synth lead section. Let's see here. Nope. Now I'm in the synth lead section. And one thing I have noticed is with certain patches, if they're set to follow the chord, when you play them, you'll actually hear the chord in the background. I don't know if that's by design or if that's not by design. So right now I have the lead track 3 set to follow the chord. And so it's going to play the chord in the background. But if you switch back to global, you see there's like Oscillator 1, Oscillator 2, so all that you can fool around with. If you go back to global, that's the MIDI one, follow chord. You can turn this to off. And then that gets rid of the chord in the background. So. And you'll see that as I'm playing it, all the different global options for that patch, or that part, I should say, are there. So right now it's set to the lead sound bank. Lead category. That's the cool thing too, is if you hold down one of these menu buttons, the display will start to show you the full thing. And once you learn how to read the display, like once you learn what is the M and what is the, well, H is pretty easy, but other letters, like you'll be able to read this. Like that says MIDI because the M is kind of like an upside down U. And there's various effects you could try on, like Bit Crusher. Let's turn that up. Make it crunchy. You can turn on distortion. This sometimes sounds pretty cool. You want to use that probably lower settings than that. Sorry, everybody's eardrums. But that'll cut through a mix. Right, and you can even change which sound category. So right now, part 3 is the lead sound category, but I can change that to bass, lead, arpeggiator, kick, chord, another chord. Let's just stick with lead now. One of the cool things is each patch, in addition to these effects, has which synthesis engine it's using. So there's the algorithm. By holding down 3, you can see it says algorithm is subtractive synth. But if you want, you can change that to like FM. So you get some of that snotty FM there. And then there's other ones here that like some sort of noise. Again, I haven't read the manual to see what all these are, but they can ring. Here's the various other ones. AM. But once you've found I like the subtractive synth one. Crank up the chorus and see what happens. That fattened it up. You can play around with it too. So it's kind of neat. Like, you know, there's your snare drum, right? And if you go to patch, you notice that there's filter, pitch, everything for that. If you go to patch, you know, you have your choice of a few different. I don't know if that was a snare drum there. That's odd. Kick drums, everybody. Let's try a kick drum patch. Yeah, there's some good kick drums there. Listen to those. Those are fun. And then, of course, percussion. Right now it's cymbals, but you got all these different percussions here. Some shakers. And what's up here? Some sort of weird digital clap. There's a regular sounding clap kind of thing. And these are all synthesized here at this point. So I just went back to the shaker. Yeah, so you got all sorts of different things. What happens if I do this? No, okay, that's something different. But even the chords, you have different chord types you can choose from. Very epic. The chords are pretty fun, but they can volume can vary quite a bit from patch to patch, so that's something you. Ooh. This version of the firmware also saves, I think, every 8 minutes or so. So that's just what happened there. Once I figure out how to upgrade to the new firmware, I think that is no longer something that it does. It auto saves, I think, if you are playing your pattern and then stop your pattern. Or if you just talk about it, audio saving, I guess it. Yeah, so there's a lot of really fun things you can do. Just playing around with patches here. But there's our one from earlier. If you go back, you can change the different oscillator types, and it's the same thing. You push down the button and it's used to set to square wave. You can change that to like supersaw. And you can change the other one from a sine wave to like a triangle wave. Change the different level of the different oscillators. So let's go back to oscillator 1. You can set your detune. There's fine detune, and then this is not so fine detune. I think you have to, or maybe if you go to pitch here. So those all mean something that I don't know yet. So there's a lot to uncover here, and it's all very cool. Transpose. Let's transpose this down an octave. Not really hearing the different oscillators that I'm. Of course, it's hard with all that reverb and delay on there. Let's try this again. Go down another octave here. Turn off the chorus. And maybe some of that reverb. And then you can select the filter types. Like this is a low pass filter. There's different types of low pass filters, band pass filters, high pass filters. And there's, you can see the envelope for the filter there. These can go up very high into, I don't know if those are seconds or what, but again, the knob is a little fiddly until I get the firmware updated. Cutoff frequency, resonance, crank that up. It opens it up a little bit. Pan, you can pan it, dynamics, and then of course patch. Don't know if I've figured out how to save the patches yet, so we probably will lose that when I hit this button again. I don't know which patch I was looking at actually. But it's a lot of fun, and you can yeah, so there's a lot. Oops, and that restores basically whatever patch you were on before you started auditioning patches. There's my goofy patch right there. Turn this up. Somebody asked about sampling. I was able, the time I had this connected to my phone, to on my computer, on my Windows computer, to save a sample over to it, so that can be done as well. This isn't, you know, but I haven't really gone into any of the chopping or anything. Oops, I think I just recorded over it. Okay, so yeah, I don't think you can undo that. I can maybe delete this guy. So I would read the manual on that probably before I started doing anything else there. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, next thing I'm going to do is actually figure out how to make some sequences and some patterns with this to use it as it was intended, which is as a 16-part multi-timbral groove box. But that was just playing around with some of the patches. Hopefully that gives you an idea of some of the things you'll discover, ooh, I could just, music from the hearts of space. Oh, that was that organ patch again. Nice. That one sounds like water. There's a really cool piano patch in here too someplace. It wasn't that one. Ooh. I like that though. And this is just me running the output directly into like a Focusrite interface here, so nothing super duper fancy, and I won't put any effects or anything on this. I'll just maximize it a bit, but yeah, this video I guess hasn't been super informative, but that's a little bit more about what the Woovebox can do. See you next time.